channel. Yeah.
So,
grab the attention of the audience, just,
Yeah.
you know,
yes.
Oh, is it? Do you have a signature
a
move?
signature move.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
He's
Got the headphones,
He's got-
exactly.
He's also listening to make sure, hopefully, that all different social media platforms that he can see to make sure that it's coming out. We've had shows sometimes where
Your best, I'm sure.
it was.
We were
like,
so
the
funny.
whole
Nobody heard us.
We had one episode with the last guy that we had my wife on the show,
Uh-huh.
and she's a nail person, all kind of stuff, and she was excited and nervous and that, and she killed in the show.
Yeah.
And he goes,
We can't hear
he's
anything.
like, he's like, I screwed up. We have to do the show over. Nothing recorded. And she was like,
I can't do that again. Yeah, I can't repeat
she
that.
was so mad.
So we're live,
Are we
remember?
live?
We are live.
On Facebook yet?
Good to go.
TikTok?
There you go.
Everything.
Right. Hey everybody, welcome to the PowerCast, live with you every Tuesday night. A very special guest with us tonight. You're going to be very excited to meet with her, talk with her, and let you know more about her. She is Pauline Bennett, coal banker, president of the Northeast region. Thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thanks, Dave. It's good to be here.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Eric.
Eric on your far left, David here, of course.
Right.
Do not have a chance. What?
On their right.
Eric on your far right,
Thank you.
Dave on your left, and of course Pauline in the middle. Do not forget to join us on our social media platforms. Go to YouTube, type in Team Powerhouse Real Estate, hit subscribe. Go to Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Thank you, TikTok, for being part of our show today. Instagram, Facebook. We have LinkedIn, Twitter, Apple Podcast, Spotify, Google Podcast. We're on Rumble, one of the newest and hottest podcast stations out there now too. So if you want us somewhere and we're not there, please let us know and we love to be a part of your lives. And here we are with Miss Pauline, the El Presidente of Coal Banker. And anybody out there who is not a part of Coal Banker, this is going to be a great show for you to watch, get to know the president who's sitting arm in arm with us over here. How often does that happen in your companies, right? Number two, somebody who's been around and then some with knowledge and experience to share with us today.
Good to be here.
Absolutely. So let's let everybody get to know you a little bit personally. Where'd you grow up?
So look, I'm not far from here.
Okay.
So I grew up in Madison, Connecticut.
Oh no, the shoreline.
Shoreline.
That's-
Yeah.
Hand.
Daniel
Yeah.
Hand.
Hand.
I grew
Daniel
up in
Hand, class of '88.
Wow.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I actually grew up in Westbrook, your next door neighbor.
Okay.
Very
Yeah.
cool stuff.
Yeah.
Great town, good schools,
Yeah.
beautiful area.
It was a great place to
Hammonasset
grow up.
Beach,
Yes,
I mean-
exactly. It was a really, it's a very nice place to grow up.
Absolutely. And where'd you go to school?
Well, I went to Daniel Hand, so I went to school in Madison
Yes.
for growing up, and then ultimately I went to St. Anselm College
Okay.
in Manchester, New Hampshire.
Wow.
It was a small liberal arts school in Manchester.
Very good stuff. And what was your major there?
Psychology.
Me too. That's pretty awesome.
Wow.
Probably one of the best degrees that you can take. See, I believe
Use
psychology.
it, don't you think you use it every day?
Every day,
Every
100%.
day. Yeah.
You have to interact with people and talking to them and understand their situations and
Yeah.
identify and
Especially like if a deal is like intense, I
Yes.
think sometimes it's that those interpersonal relationships, you can really use psychology to help people get to really where they want to go.
Get to the finish line.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that they should teach psychology in schools, starting from middle school all through high school into college. I think that families and kids and environments would be so much better because people have to talk to each other,
Yeah.
especially today more than ever using their phones. You know,
Well,
and stuff.
communication is
Yes.
so key.
So key.
Yeah.
Very cool stuff with psychology.
Yeah.
And how and why did you decide to get into real estate?
Well, I think like many people, there's a lot of different roads got me there, but my favorite part of the story, I think that got me there is I had just bought my first house. And, and I kind of watched the experience and it was a good experience. I didn't think it was a great experience and I thought I could do it better.
You know, we hear that.
Don't you
quite
hear,
often.
I hear that from people all the time.
It's actually true.
In
And especially when what year was that you got your real estate license?
2000.
Okay, so in the 2000s, when that was happening, the market was pretty fired up.
And there was 5 or 6 really very strong years in front of it to go
Yes.
before we before the world went upside down there.
Yeah,
But,
to say
but
the
so
least.
so there was a bit of a run up even beyond
Yeah,
2000.
absolutely. That's pretty cool stuff. And
Yeah.
you worked where as your first time?
In Madison.
In Madison. No
Yeah,
kidding.
Yeah,
Was it that cool?
of course it
Uh,
was at
it was at
Coldwell.
Coldwell Banker. I
Yes,
didn't
of
know
course
that.
it was at Coldwell Banker,
That's
yes.
pretty cool. So you
Yes.
actually started Coldwell Banker
Yes.
and still here today.
Yes.
That's an amazing ride.
Yes.
Commitment.
That's serious. That means you were the brand you already believed in,
For sure.
right? And you had it, that you not only believed in it, but you felt how impressive it was to be a real estate agent for Coldwell Banker and what it could do for you in your future.
Yeah, and I mean, look, at that time, I wasn't really thinking about that,
Right.
right? Like I loved listing and selling real estate, in fact, now, I spent, this morning at an office sales meeting, I spent this afternoon, the early part of this afternoon, out with one of our strong listing agents, doing some market research with her. So I still love to be in the field.
Yes.
But one of the best things about our company is that sometimes you want to take your career in a different direction, and that's all available here.
I love that. Jennifer, I have to talk to you. No, but this is great stuff, because
Yeah.
the fact that you started off as a realtor, makes a huge platform as to where you are today, and you've gone through different stages and know the company really well.
Yeah.
And one thing about Coldwell Banker is not only that it has so many pieces to be successful as a real estate agent, you have so many agents you're working with and for as the president of our company. I mean, from what I remember, it was over 6,000 agents you're working with right now. That's a lot of realtors. And how many different areas do you cover?
So it's really, it's the proper New England,
Yes.
I like to call it, from people who are around here, so you know what those New England states are. So Connecticut,
Yes.
Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Maine, and New Hampshire.
Wow.
Doesn't include Vermont, but we have affiliates in Vermont, but my territory is the other 5 states.
It's pretty impressive stuff.
Well, you're very
No pressure.
no pressure, no pressure. But look, it's it's a great market. We're really blessed, I think,
Amen.
up here in this
Yes.
neck of the woods. We really benefit from, especially here in Connecticut. You're right, you're halfway between 2 great cities.
Yes.
We benefited from a lot of post-pandemic flexibility in people, exactly, in where people can live and work and play. And, there's a lot of, it's a stable market,
Yes.
so we benefit from, a nice average sales price.
Yes.
And
And we have the seasons.
and we have the seasons.
Yes, we have lots
I
of
would
these.
give up maybe one of the seasons.
I'm probably with you on that.
Yeah,
to
but a
some
little
degree.
bit. I like it in the beginning. I like it for the first 2 weeks.
Right.
And then I'm like I think 3 weeks of that
I'm
other
confused
season
on
would be,
which one you're talking about.
You're confused. You
Yeah.
must be one of those people that loves the winter.
I do.
Yeah, I figured.
Okay.
Yeah, I figured. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely.
It's the Cuban blood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jonas, I like the fall. It's pretty,
Yeah.
and then it gets to that like that. Although we've been very lucky with the last few years with the winters, haven't been that bad. But there are some days when it's so cold
Yeah.
that it hurts your bones, and that's the part that gets a little tough.
Yeah.
I know Eric. I didn't interrupt you, Eric.
No, go ahead, go ahead.
So let me just start with, you're the president of Coldwell Banker New England. Can you share with us and the viewers a little bit about who you are and what's about that you're doing in this spotlight, if you will,
In this role.
Yes.
So look, you mentioned 6,000 agents,
Yes.
right? And that's, Coldwell Banker has about 50,000 agents across the country.
That's
But we've
amazing.
got 6,000 agents here. And look, I think my job really is to make those 6,000 agents' job easier.
I love it. And the fact that you're sitting down with the president of the company, that's pretty intimate. I don't know in a corporation this big, to have that kind of access is pretty impressive. It feels impressive to me. And if you're watching out there, when was the last time you met the president of your company, no matter what field you're working in?
Well,
Right?
We've reached certain echelons. I mean, we had the office manager,
Yes.
Jen,
Yes.
we had Mr. Brady,
Yes, Mr. Dan.
right? So we're moving up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Moving up.
there you
We
go.
are.
There you go. Well, that's
Yeah.
what I can't wait to see what you do next.
Well, this podcast is gonna go viral, and what's gonna happen is, you're gonna become a celebrity outside of Coldwater.
Oh, well,
That's
that would
gonna
be good.
Yes, and then what's gonna happen is, they're gonna want you from all these other places, you're gonna have to say, nope, not happening. That's what's gonna happen. So, what does an average day look like for you?
You know, there's no average day in real estate. I don't have to
Facts.
tell you guys that.
That is a
Right,
fact.
that is a fact.
Yes.
So look, my best days are when I get to spend time in the field and time thinking about, what the next, geez, I don't even know that I don't know that I look 5. I definitely try not to look beyond 5 years down the road now, because it is such dynamic market conditions right now.
Evolving.
Yeah,
like
fast.
a roller coaster.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
I mean, what you have in mind for 5 years down the road could change in a year.
100%, 100%. So I do, so I like to spend time in the field. I really like to develop talent. Like, that's probably one of the areas where I get the most joy from, whether it's helping, whether it's having a cup of coffee with somebody who's considering the industry,
Right.
because I do think that this is such an amazing career for people. Whether you have that entrepreneurial itch, you've got the creativity, you want to be your own boss, you want sky to be the limit, you want to have just a variety of different outlets to express yourself. I love to talk to somebody who's considering embarking on that. It takes guts to be a real estate agent, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you kind of push your chips.
All in.
You push your chips all in.
But the advantage is, you have a chance to be with family.
Mhm.
You get to make your own hours to
Yeah.
some degree. Obviously, there's sometimes
Whichever
you don't.
60 hours a week you
Yeah.
want to work, those
Or
are
not-
totally
or
up, those are
90,
totally up to you, right, or
Absolutely.
90, yeah, that's right,
Um,
there's no pay on Friday.
This is facts.
Yeah.
Let me ask you, so
Yeah.
family is, I don't know much about your family life. Are you care to share with a little bit
Yeah,
of
of
people
course,
out there?
yeah, I love my family,
That's a
so,
good thing.
yes, I do.
She loves you all. It's
Yeah,
important to know. So tell us about
exactly.
your family.
So I'm married, I've been married for almost 20 years now. I married somebody that also grew up in Madison, although we're
wow.
different generations.
Cool.
He had 2 boys when we got married, they were 11 and 13.
Wow.
That he was raising.
That's amazing.
It
Must
was
be a good dad.
he's a great dad.
Yeah.
He was and they're great boys.
That's
They
fantastic.
weren't then. They weren't then. If you're
No,
you weren't
not at 11
then.
and
You weren't
13.
then. Yeah, no, you weren't then. They
They
are
need-
now.
They needed a female direction.
Yeah. So I figured 11 and 13-year-old boys, like how hard could they can take care of themselves, right? That was
They're self-sufficient.
yeah, like
For
they
sure.
don't need
Yeah.
a lot. Thank God that was my mindset, or I wouldn't have married him.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So that was, again, almost 20 years ago now, we joke about that now. So now, obviously, they're 36, 35,
Wow.
and they're great.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Any of them in real estate?
No, and I try to get the younger one, I try to get him into real estate a lot. I have not been successful yet. But
Yes.
like, I don't ever give up. I'm very patient.
Do you know what? It's something, though, in this business that you have to really want it.
Yeah, for
In
sure.
order to be successful,
For sure.
I believe that the why in
Yeah.
your life has to be so strong.
Totally.
Because the amount of walls you hit in this business, and to be able to go through them, understand them, and kind of get back up.
Yeah.
So there's a pros and cons to this business.
And learn from them.
And learn from them. Eric, when you first got in this business, I mean, the amount of things that I saw happen, the poor guy, one of the hardest working guys you've ever met, Marine, loyal to the bone. I mean, and when I say to you that he was not treated fairly or nicely, but every
It
time.
was challenging.
Yeah.
challenging.
In real estate.
Yeah.
First couple of years,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
He just
I
would
tell
say-
Dave, I said, what doesn't kill me only makes me stronger. So
Facts.
it's just, it preps you for things later on, so.
It's definitely something in this business that you learn a lot about people and yourself. And you learn about how to stay positive and how to be, it's important to be with a good group of people that help support you. Like a great manager like
Yeah.
Jennifer Bueller. I'm
Right.
sorry,
Yeah.
Jennifer Caldwell. Right,
Yeah.
do that a lot. Jennifer Caldwell, an amazing manager for our office. She is like your mom, your sister, your girlfriend. She's your best friend. She is everything in your life that helps you, therapy,
Yeah.
etc.
Yeah.
And that's what, and that's what we try to do for the team,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
you know, is be that support network for the team.
I'm inspired by you guys.
Appreciate that. Well, our team is something that is, we like to play hard, work hard, right? Work hard, play hard. And it's about educating the agents of the team and making sure that they understand and learn and grow. And not everybody always wants to listen and learn.
It
when it's
makes me
time.
think, I'll often say to people that real estate has no start and stop.
Facts. You're
So
right.
it kind of weaves its way
Mhm.
in all parts of your life, right? Because it
Yes.
comes to the grocery store with you, it comes home with you, it interrupts dinner, it interrupts a vacation, it doesn't, it really, it knows no boundaries.
It's the only business in the world that's like
It
this.
is, it's true. But you guys seem, I can really tell that your team provides the support
Thank you.
that kind of makes that manageable and fun. Because let's
Yes.
face it, at the end of the day, like,
It has to be
it's,
fun.
yeah, it's okay to have
Yes.
fun doing this.
Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah.
So, can you give us a look into the Boston market? What trends are we seeing up north? Jumping back into real estate, sorry.
Okay, so look, the trends up north are very similar to what I see here in the marketplace here. So lots of demand, still no shortage of demand out there. Inventory is challenged, driven heavily by the interest rate environment
Yes.
that we're experiencing, where sellers are just kind of locked in, they're locked into their homes.
Yes.
We've got some frozen assets. But look, overall, like, I still think that the overall desirability
Yes, the American dream,
is so strong.
absolutely.
And each market, whether you're in North Haven or the Shoreline, Fairfield County, Boston, if you're up in, if you're in secondary markets of Maine or New Hampshire, each market has their special sauce,
Absolutely,
if you will.
yes.
So the markets are good, but we still have more demand than supply.
I have a cousin who actually is getting married in September, Jennifer and her fiance Landon, and they're actually looking to buy a house in the Boston area. And we talk about the challenges that are involved, but you gotta stay positive, you gotta stay strong, you have to have someone you're working with, someone who's on top of it, somebody who's looking and listening and watching things, and you gotta stay as positive as possible when you're out there shopping, because it's easy to get in that roller coaster of highs and lows in this business, and the buyers need to be excited and stay positive. Things are only gonna get better because we've already been, in my opinion, at the bottom. In the bottom, I mean, not in the market as far as value goes, but it's having challenges getting a home.
Yeah.
It's gonna get better. Homes are gonna come on the market.
I'll give you a wild stat, if
Yes.
you'd like, from
Yes,
the
yes.
Boston marketplace, that just cracked $4,000 a square foot for a condo.
Wow. So save up.
So that was kind of a new
Wow.
high,
Wow.
a new threshold that got broken.
That's
So
pretty wild.
So for your listeners that are like, well, hold on, what does that mean? That means a 1,000 square foot condo for $4 million.
That is an aha moment.
Yeah, so
That is pretty wild.
so that was a new,
I mean, that's a prime location though.
yeah, that's prime everything.
Yeah.
Right, that's prime everything, and I'm not suggesting, and that's we always kind of talk about the outliers,
Mhm.
right? Like on the high side and the
Yeah.
low side, but it was a noteworthy threshold that just got just got crossed.
The good news is that same property in 1 year will probably gain 10 to 15% in value in 1 year.
Mm-hmm.
Because the market is doing that right now. It's like, it takes money to make money, right?
Yeah.
So if you can afford whatever value it is you are, you're only investing your money in the greatest investment of your life, is your real estate. Real estate is everything. Over the time from, I don't know, 10, 20, 30, 40 years, you only see real estate, while it has its hiccups here and there, it's always in the high end, if you will. Best investment you can make.
It's also, I just know from my own experience over my years of not only being in the business, but my own personal experience with real estate is like unlocking equity
Absolutely.
when I moved, like either when I moved or, now I'm not talking about unlocking equity like in a home equity loan to like go to Aruba.
Right.
Or like buy a car, or
Right.
do that crazy debt consolidation.
Pay for your kid's college.
Well, that's a different story, because that's a noble.
Yes.
But that's an investment in and of
Yes,
itself.
exactly,
right.
that's a,
Yeah.
that's a noble, I wouldn't fault any parent for
Right.
making that decision, but unlocking equity, in homes to, buy a bigger home, or buy your dream home, or, is really a powerful way to live your dreams.
Absolutely. You invested wisely or even got lucky and that piece of property became your diamond in the rough.
Exactly, and it helped you get to the next.
And it's
That
funny,
next
when we
thing.
talk with buyers, we tell them, listen, just start wherever you can start.
Mhm.
It's not forever.
Exactly
And
right.
that property, if you maintain it, you
Mhm.
update it, you take care of it,
Yep.
like a child, right?
Exactly. Yes.
You take care of your kids, you
Yep.
hope that the majority of the time they're gonna fly. That house is gonna increase in value over time by maintaining it. It's the one you walk into that house and you like look at the house, you walk in and from the outside, you're like, eh, and then you walk in, you go, whoa, 1960s. But Coldwell Banker has that program that I love more than anything in the whole world, Real Vitalize,
Yeah.
which is a game changer in this industry, because if we take that house from 1960, we're bringing it back to 2024, and they probably have no mortgage on that house because they've never done anything to that house,
Exactly.
which is a game changer. We can talk about that also, but there's so many things to talk about. Too,
I know, so I do think, I don't want to date myself, because no woman wants to do that, but, I do find that in today's market, good old-fashioned sweat equity
Yes.
is gone.
Mhm.
I think about some of the first homes that I purchased, and, the work that we would do,
Right.
whether we were, taking down wallpaper,
Right.
installing hardwood floors, painting the cabinet, we were willing, and we not only did we have the natural equity in a property, but we had sweat equity in a property.
Because you didn't have the money to do all
Well,
those
we
things.
didn't, and we, exactly.
You wanted something, you
Exactly.
went and had to do it yourself.
Yeah.
You didn't have the, you
Yeah.
put whatever you had into that house.
Exactly,
I mean,
exactly.
But you know what, we see a lot of young
And
people.
doesn't just every generation says that?
Mhm.
Yeah, it's
Like,
true.
it's like,
It's absolute truth, but
my generation, yeah.
it's really the truth. There are a lot of people today that have those hand skills, knowledge between YouTube and all
Oh,
these different things
for
that people
sure,
have to
for
learn
sure.
about to do things.
Yeah.
At the same time, I'm gonna be honest with you, Pauline, I don't wanna
Yeah.
embarrass myself. I am the least handy guy in the
Yeah.
world you've ever met.
He's not kidding.
Okay.
Don't give them any hand tools, power tools, no way.
No way.
My job is to make sure you have all the right people
Yeah.
to take care of the
Yeah.
work, and I'm very connected in that. So I tell my clients all the time, if you need anything,
Mm,
remember to call us.
Yeah.
We have all the right people for you. That doesn't mean you can't do it yourself.
Yeah,
But sometimes,
that's a great value though.
absolutely.
It's a great value, because I also bet in this area or this time,
Yes.
where getting a contractor to come out, follow
Right.
up, respond, is so challenging. That must be such a great value to provide to your people. A lot of times people are insistent on move-in ready
Yes.
because they are afraid of the hassle, the
Yes.
cost, the finding people. So having that resource available to your people is a huge value that you're providing.
Thank you, and I agree with you. And we just want, it's our job to make sure our clients always feel here confident. How often we're in the car with a client and you hear one of the spouses saying, listen, I'm not buying a house with an old kitchen because I know what it'll take to get it fixed.
Exactly.
And then I'm like, well, listen, if you need, and I'll kind of have that conversation that makes him feel better.
Yeah.
Because he might be thinking, what's gonna cost me? And she's thinking, I'm not buying it if it's not new.
Mhm.
And if I can make that kind of come
Yeah.
together and make them feel better about the situation, here's what happens. Not only buy the house, but both are happy at the end of the day.
Mhm.
So it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Relationship building
Yeah.
all day long. What would you say, in your opinion, what are the biggest challenges agents face today? And we kind of talked a little about this, but
Mhm.
you know, obviously we have the market conditions.
Mhm.
I think that, if I may say so, I think it's who you work with, the company you work for, the manager you have behind the scenes, and having access to your president of your company. I mean, it's such a resource to have. So these pieces of the puzzle, what makes things challenging for some agents are not challenging for others. You know, who you work for, who you work with, having great people you work with who you can rely on as a team, individuals, you know, somebody that cares about you, and again, having a corporation or a company that is truly by your side.
Mhm.
Now that's on the inside the way I look at it.
Yeah, look, I think I think that during the pandemic,
Yes,
when people were working from home,
yes,
you were all working from home.
no.
Mm-mm.
That didn't happen. Nobody was, you guys weren't working from home.
No.
You were working from your car, working from in front of an open house,
Yes.
putting booties on people, wiping off,
We were
wiping down.
we were astronauts.
Right, like you were, like people thought it was working from home.
Right.
They said working from home, but you
Yes.
guys were working in the, and when that, you were working in the field. And when as we entered a post-pandemic period of time, people did kind of start going back, staying home, but they
Yes.
became less busy.
True.
And what happens then is distraction can come into play.
Absolutely.
And when you're alone with distraction, like that's very different than when you're like just trying to keep up.
Absolutely.
And so I think that that's really where all of those things that you were talking about, connection to your team, connection to your colleagues, having a great manager that you can bounce an idea off of, plugging into your company, is so important because as a real estate agent, you gotta generate it every day.
Well,
Emotionally focused.
those pieces that you mentioned
Yeah.
are what keep us optimistic
Yeah,
about what the
exactly.
future brings.
For some reason, I don't know about you guys, but if I listen to the voice in my head, like it's never like, you're awesome,
You're right.
like you got this, right?
We have different voices.
Yeah, right? Like,
My voice says that all the time.
oh, well, good for
Yes.
you.
Let me introduce you to
That's-
Eric,
yeah,
because-
yeah, all right, Eric. Yeah. My husband is a little bit like that. My husband is a little bit like
Where
that.
me, I come home, I'm like, I'm taking care of everybody else and staying positive. I come
Yeah.
home and I'm like deflated emotionally, and then like my wife said, "You're gonna be fine, and it's gonna be great. Don't worry about it."
Or you're like, my buyer just lost their 5th home,
Right.
or they, I just had a buyer like 75,000 over, waived everything, and we didn't get, we didn't get it,
Yeah.
So I do find that plugging in, is sometimes the smartest thing an agent can do.
You definitely have to stay. You can't disconnect. Although I do believe, and I learned this from other agents when I was going into my first 10 years, I didn't take a vacation,
Yeah,
and I realized how harmful that was
Yeah.
to me,
Yeah.
mind and body.
yeah, yeah.
I was at the point where people were like, "You're gonna have a heart
Yeah.
attack, and you're gonna
Yeah.
lose your family
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
you're not healthy."
No.
And it's so important.
Remember that no boundaries?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
When you unplug that,
Yeah.
you need to unplug
Yeah.
and have the support
Mhm.
of the people around you.
Yeah.
It makes a huge difference in your life as a realtor,
Yeah, for sure.
whether you're on a team, which is an amazing experience for all of us.
Right, it doesn't have, right, exactly. Wherever you find that, the biggest challenge for me, that I see out there is people being lone rangers.
Yes, absolutely. It's tough to be a lone ranger in this
Yeah.
business.
Agreed,
It's great to have,
on a long-term basis.
absolutely. The emotional support
Yeah.
is so important.
Mhm.
And that's where I go back to the manager. When you're a realtor and you're working within an office environment, that person who is your
Coach,
coach, your therapist, it's your everything, literally, because
problem solver,
Yes.
yeah.
It's an-
Idea, brainstorm, a whiteboard, they're
Yes.
all of those. A good one is worth their weight in gold.
100%. That'll be Jennifer Caldwell, co-banker in the family, if I may just plug that very simply.
One more time.
And I'm going to
Yeah.
tell you another great manager
Yeah.
in Cheshire is Steve Votto.
Yes, I've heard of him.
Super phenomenal,
I've
phenomenal
heard of him.
guy.
Uh-huh.
There's a lot of great managers throughout the
Yeah.
area,
Mhm.
in Madison and Brantford
Yeah.
and Milford. All these different
Yes.
offices have great managers. They truly care about their agents and they're there for them. You know what? When we're out in the social atmosphere, we're friends. We have fun together. It's such a different kind of experience, I would say, than anything else I've ever been a part of.
Mm.
Pretty cool stuff.
Yeah.
You know,
That's why we stay all these years.
absolutely. And getting a chance to go to the elite retreat in Florida, the Breakers in Palm
You
Beach.
ready to go?
More than you can imagine. As a matter of fact, it's funny. I'm flying this weekend with my family. Took my son to school in Florida at Lynn University in Boca,
Okay.
and then we come back, which is they'll get him settled in school and see my
Yes.
parents for a couple minutes, and then we come back. But then we get to go back and
Chill.
chill.
Yeah.
Exactly right. Absolutely. All right. What should agents be doing to have a successful real estate career? And we talked about that again. I'm sorry I keep asking these questions, you kind of already talked about it a little bit, but
Yeah.
just to kind of
Go to work.
go to work, stay active,
Go to work,
be
yeah.
involved,
Yeah.
and
Be a
and not-
professional.
Yes,
Be a
absolutely.
professional, know your inventory, like pick up your phone, have good etiquette with your co-broking agents.
Do you know what's funny? We just talked about this. I literally called a realtor the other day, and they answered the phone, hello? And I was like,
You didn't know what to do.
I was in shock. I actually said to them, I said, are you a real estate agent?
Yeah.
They go, yeah, why?
Yeah.
And yeah, why not? Yes. It was like the whole language. And I was like, because the way you answered your phone, you didn't say, hi, this is David from Team Powerhouse, or hi, this is David from Coldwell Bank. It was just like, hello? And I was shocked by, and I go, most of us who've been in business for some time would say that you'd know who each other are. And I knew he was, well, I think he was newer, if you will. And I kind of, when I said it to me, got defensive at first. I didn't mean to be offensive, but I wanted to know that, hey, in this business, and no matter what business you're in, how you answer the phone is how people perceive you, So, anyway, yeah. Stay present, stay on the phone, be
Yes.
active.
Yeah.
We got a lot of questions here. I know we have a lot of time going by. I'm not sure how we are on time over here.
29.
All right.
Oh,
How do you see the market in the Northeast different from other parts of the country? Is that okay to ask that question?
sure.
Excellent.
Yeah.
What are you thinking about, Eric?
I'm waiting for their answer.
He's like, I want to know what she says.
Yeah, well, I mean, if I'm gonna move from the Northeast, I need to know where.
So I've had the opportunity to work in a couple of different markets in my
Yes.
career, and so look, the thing that I think is different here is we just have a lack of open land,
That is true.
right? So our market here, our product is we're pretty landlocked. We're not making any more open land here. We can't
Yep.
we can't travel west
Yes.
to undeveloped land.
It's
So
true.
here, so that lack of available land for new building
Yes.
is very limited.
It is.
So that certainly impacts the amount of just available product that we have, which drives a lot of other things. So that kind of starts that's like the basis for which a lot of other things happen. The other thing I notice here is I think we have a very sophisticated home buyer here.
That is also very true. Well, I would say they're becoming much more sophisticated in the last couple of years
Yeah.
because of technology and what they've been affected by them, or they've been affected by, which has become making them much more knowledgeable.
Yeah.
As long as they're not going on certain websites and
Well,
using that as the Bible, that's where we all run into
yeah,
problems,
for sure.
right?
It's like getting on WebMD and
Right.
diagnosing myself.
That is actually
yes.
a really good,
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
actually use it. The next time you get that buyer that goes, well, I was on the so-and-so website,
Yeah.
I'm gonna, so you play a doctor on TV too,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, it's
Yes.
actually a really good analogy, the WebMD and the
I
whole.
don't mean to insinuate that buyers everywhere aren't sophisticated, but there is, look, our home, the other thing I noticed different here is the average age of our home.
That's true.
It's just very different than a lot of other markets that
That's a really good
been in,
point.
where there's the established roots
Yeah.
here in this market. And I do think that the New England, I don't know if we call it healthy skepticism or, conservative, what do they call it? The Yankee, the cheap old Yankee.
Right,
I'm really
No, you're
butchering that
not at all,
analogy.
because what's happened, you're saying, like, the way these homes were built in the New England area,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
They've got a staff, they're well built.
Mhm.
And they've held its own through time and history. And we see a lot of older homes, and to me, when someone says, well, that house was built in 1970, that's an old house. I'm like,
Yes, exactly,
Act-
exactly.
right. That house built in the 70s is probably the best house you can find.
There were times in other markets where people would say, I want a home that's older than 10 years old.
Right,
That would take away 90% of our inventory
Mhm.
here,
Absolutely.
if we had that kind
I
of,
mean,
so that's why,
50% of what we sell is probably mid-century, no?
I mean, really,
yeah.
yeah,
I-
so,
I tell people, listen, depending on what kind of house you want in New England, usually after 1940, you're gonna have 40s to the 70s were probably the best houses built, in my opinion. Not that the ones built today aren't amazing because of the
Of course.
technology, a whole different level.
There's just not as many of them.
Right, 100% true.
Yeah.
And the houses between, let's say, 1700, 1800, up to 19, let's say 40, there's just a different kind of build and foundation. And those homes, when they get invested into and restructurize those homes into like other nuances and foundation things that we need or need to kind of make them stronger and more pretty, they become the most beautiful homes. And
The
using,
classics,
right,
yeah.
use Madison as an example, that Madison vibe, that beach house, that total, those homes are, it gotta be between the, I don't know, 40s and the 70s, easily.
20s.
20s,
yeah,
right.
Yeah,
So it's that exact, people
Yeah.
love that Connecticut feel,
Yeah.
they love that Connecticut home.
I agree.
And they're actually, even with the siding, you can buy that cedar shake vinyl siding, which gives you that like Connecticut feel to it versus that regular, let's say, siding, if you
Yeah.
will.
Mhm.
I agree with you. Why should a consumer choose Coldwell Banker?
Look, there's no broader reach. You know, whether if you're a seller, you want the broadest net possible for agents to sell your home for the most amount of money in the least amount of time with the least amount of hassle. Nobody can do that better than Coldwell Banker. Right, our reach is just unmatched.
Unmatched.
Preach.
Yes.
And like, look, I think that, we invest in each one of our listings along with our agents. So to me, it's we have so much, our market share is kind of the proof of that.
Yes.
In the dominance in most of the towns that we serve. So to me, that's really a huge reason why. But the other reason why is, I don't know, I know I'm biased, so I'll just put that out there.
That's
but
fair.
I know I'm biased.
Yes.
But I really do think that Coldwell Banker agents hold themselves to a different standard of professionalism.
I happen to agree with you. Again, we all have in our companies people who are not as they should be per se, but across the board, I would agree with you 100%. When you meet a Coldwell Banker realtor, you're usually going to have an upbringing of somebody who's been taught right, well groomed,
Yeah.
most part well spoken, right? And they're hopefully educated. And again, going back to the whole team thing is, when you have realtors that come in and they have a chance to learn it, the amount of education this company has, the technology this company has, the resources technology this company has, the technology to help make you such a successful realtor and producer in this business, it's a mic drop all day long.
They don't allow you to fail.
They don't
They don't allow you to fail.
it all comes down to this person here. who's-
Right, and we make sure, I really do think we really drive home the fact that your fiduciary responsibility
Yes,
is to your client.
absolutely.
And that your job, our job, is to really make sure that we're doing the best for our client. And I think I notice that most of our agents that I come in contact with take that very seriously, and that makes me so proud of the service that they're providing out in our communities.
Definitely agree with you. I'm gonna ask you one more question over here before we end the show, and I'm trying to decide, because of all these questions written down, which one is the best one to ask.
Is it about her golf game?
You know what, let's do that.
Yeah,
So, I understand you play golf.
I do.
How long have you been playing golf for?
Geez, probably before I got into real estate.
Oh,
So,
nice.
yeah,
That's
so,
been a while,
yeah, so
okay.
20 something years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any better at it?
So, any better at it?
Have you gotten any better at
Yeah,
it?
so I did, I got a lot better.
What's your secret?
Yeah, I will play a lot. So when I lived in Florida,
Yes.
I lived on a golf course.
Where in Florida were you living, by
I
the way?
was living in Sarasota.
Okay.
I lived on a golf course, and every night after dinner, not every night, like most nights after dinner, my husband and I would put the dog in the golf cart,
Oh, that's
and we
cute.
would go and we would play holes 6, 7, and 8.
Okay.
So we would play 3 holes at night after dinner, that will get you good at golf. So at that time,
And it's easy to swear at your husband.
Yes, yes, very. Yeah. It's terrible that we do that with those we love the most.
Absolutely.
Right? It's awful. So at that time in my life, I was able to get my handicap to a 12.
Wow.
So it was, so
Dave's a scratch golfer.
Yeah.
No, he scratches his head after every shot.
My goal
Okay.
is.
How do they do that?
I'm impressed. Then I was gonna say, you are not working nearly enough. I knew that probably wasn't,
It's funny. So I started playing golf back in the day with my buddies.
Yeah.
And it was always like you have a couple of drinks, you have some balls, you go out and you play.
Yeah,
And I'm very competitive and
Yeah,
I
yeah.
hate to be bad at something.
yeah, me too.
And it got to the point where I was losing so many balls
Yeah, you're
and I just didn't want to. So I stopped playing. And I said to myself, you know what? I told myself the other day, I want to get back into it.
Yeah.
My goal was used to be that I want to lose less than 12 balls per game. That's how bad it was.
Yeah.
When you're like, because you hit a ball, everyone's
Yeah.
take a mulligan, right? How many mulligans can you take in one game?
Well, and I don't like spending my time looking for balls.
Yes.
My husband would hunt a ball down. He would hunt that thing. I'd be like, let's move on.
Right.
We got 17 more holes. Like, let's lose that thing.
Right.
Move on.
I'm a
awesome.
hunter,
You're a hunter.
I'm a
Yeah, what is
hunter,
that?
for sure.
I think it must be the guy versus the man-woman thing, because I couldn't care less. I'm like,
It's taking a loss that we don't want to take.
I guess so.
Right,
yeah, it's
Yeah.
taking
Back
a
to that
loss.
Yankee.
Yeah.
Back to that Yankee thing.
And then I'll claim, like I'll hit a white ball, and if I see a green ball, I go, oh, here's my ball.
Yeah, there you go.
You hit a white
Tell
Titleist.
me
You
you
know, I
won't-
didn't.
Tell me you won't play with a range ball, though.
I will.
Oh,
Oh, I will.
yeah, all right, you'll take whatever.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I just want to be clear, just in
Yes.
case anybody, like, the days of a 12 handicap for me are long gone. So
So
it
you-
doesn't stay.
Do you get to play a little bit once in a while?
I play a little bit once in a while, but I'm not playing 3 holes a day anymore.
Right, of course.
Yeah, so just like anything
Yes.
in life, you have to, if you want to do anything well, you have to do it a lot.
In order to be the best realtor,
You got to sell a lot of homes.
you've got to be out there
That's
doing
why
it.
exactly.
Thank you very
That's
much.
why you guys are getting it done.
You know what? In this business, and no matter what business in life you're going to take it, I tell myself all the time, you always work as hard as you can. You stay focused. You build those relationships. You look people in the eye. You shake their hand.
Mm.
And you continue to build those relationships and work hard and work hard. And that's going to be your future. That's going to be your mark in your life and what you do for yourself. And you represent the family. And in our business here, we represent the family of Cole
Please,
Banter,
yes,
right?
yes, make me proud.
Amen. Hallelujah. Absolutely.
Trying.
All right,
You are.
Pauline, you did an amazing job today. I want to thank you
guys
so
were
much.
great. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
This was my treat.
I want to tell you guys, I want to thank you so much again for watching this amazing show. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to type them in. We'll get back to you later on them, as we always do. Pauline is an amazing woman. I want to thank you so much again for sharing your time with us. It was an amazing show. We have more to come next week and next few weeks, and more shows coming up. Exciting, maybe not as exciting as having Pauline, the president
sure
of
they'll be
Cole Banker, you know?
No.
That's gonna be
Next
hard
week's
to-
pizza, right?
Next week is not, it's maybe the week after that's gonna be pizza.
Ah,
Yeah.
I was looking forward to pizza.
I think next week is Michael Christopher, actually. He's gonna talk about the home renovation loans
Oh,
from Guaranteed Rate. It'll be a
Very
great
good.
show to watch.
awesome.
All right, everybody, our next part of our show is we give a tumbler out to a lucky winner. And as you know, if you want to win a tumbler, you gotta let us know so we can put you on the wheel. So Thane in the background, when he hits that magic button and it spins around, maybe your name will pop up. Thane, who's gonna be our lucky winner this week, buddy?
Let's find out.
There's the wheel.
$5,776 on TikTok.
Astros 5776, congratulations on winning a tumbler. Please reach out to us. Get us your contact information. We're going to send out a tumbler to you. We appreciate you being a part of our show, everybody. And we can't wait to see you next week. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you, everybody.